Profile of Moscow. Moscow, Russian Moscow, city capital of Russia, located in the far western part of the country. Since it was first mentioned in the chronicles of 1147, Moscow has played a vital role in Russian history. It became the capital of Muscovy, the Grand Principality of Moscow, in the late 13th century. Hence, the people of Moscow are known as Muscovites. Today, Moscow is not only the political center of Russia, but also the country's most populous city and its industrial, cultural, scientific, and educational capital. For more than 600 years, Moscow also has been the spiritual center of the Russian Orthodox Church. The capital of the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics (USSR) until the Union dissolved in 1991. Moscow attracted world attention as a center of communist power. Indeed, the name of the seat of the former Soviet government and the successor Russian government, the Kremlin, Russian Kremlin, was a synonym for Soviet authority. The dissolution of the USSR brought tremendous economic and political change, along with a significant concentration of Russian wealth into Moscow. The demographic factor of Moscow. Moscow is located in western Russia, about 400 miles southeast of St. Petersburg and 300 miles east of the border with Belarus. It stands on the Moscow River, a tributary of the Oka enters of the Volga, in the center of the West Plain of European Russia. The city and its surrounding area, the Moscow Oblast, lie in the northwest corner of the most highly developed and densely populated part of Russia. Moscow is situated in the broad, extremely shallow valley of the Moscow River and its tributaries. A map of Moscow presents a pattern of concentric rings that circle the rough triangle of the Kremlin and its rectangular extension. The Kitay-Gorod, with outwardly radiating spokes connecting the rings. The whole pattern is modified by the twisting northwest-southeast trending Moscow River. This ring and radials mark the historical stage of the city's growth. Successive epochs of development are traced by the Bulwark Ring and the Golden Ring, both following the line of former fortification. The Moscow Little Ring Railway, built in the part along the line of the former Kamenskoye-Kolesky custom barrier and the Moscow Ring Road.
Okay, so for now, we're gonna talk about population. Firstly, we're gonna talk about Russian population. So between 1993 and 2008, Russia population saw a considerable decline in its population from 146.37 million to 143.25 during this time. Russia experienced low birth rates and abnormal high death rates. Since then, the population has increased again to 145.93 million. However, the population is expected to reach its peak at the end of 2020 and is projected to start declining again. So now let's go to the next part, is what Moscow population. That's what we're gonna talk about. So Moscow is the capital city and the most populous federal in subject of Russia, and the most major city on the planet. Okay, it's also the second most populous city in Europe and the 11th largest city proper on Earth. In 2016, the estimated population was 12.9 million. Alright. So now we're gonna talk about city and population size. At its last census in 2016, Moscow and population of 11.5 million In 2012, its territory expanded from 1,000 to 2,511 square kilometers, which added an additional 233,000 people. As Russia official figures and are not believed to be complete, accurate, and taking into consideration the high rates of illegal immigration, the true figure today may be anywhere from 13 to 17 million, although 2016 estimate put the population right under 13 million. The net census is planned for 2020, so we will have to work and for the fresh data to roll in. Moscow population of about 12.19 million makes in the 6th largest city in the world and the most populous city in Russia. So now we're gonna talk about population density of Moscow. Moscow has a density of 8,537.2 people per square kilometer. Moscow is run by one mayor, but the city is actually divided into 12 okrugs and 123 districts, each with its own coat of arms and flags and individual heads of each area. The largest administrative okrugs include: first one is Source Okrug, 1.59 million. Second, Eastern Okrug, 1.39 million. Number 3, Northeastern Okrug, 1.24 million. Number 4, Northern Okrug, 1.11 million. And lastly, number 5, Southeastern Okrug, 1.12 million.
The Russian economy is the 10th largest economy in the world by policy measure value and the 6th largest by purchasing power parity (PPK). Russia has an abundance of natural gas, oil, coal and precious metal. It is also rich in agriculture. In addition to resource-based industry, Russia has developed large production capacity, especially with machinery. The defense industry and aircraft operators are important and able to offer international products that are competitive for export. There are two largest industries in Russia, which is defense industry and the automotive industry. Russian defense industry employs 2.5 until 3 million people, accounting for 20% of all manufacturing jobs. Russia is the second largest exporter of conventional weapons in the world after the United States. The most popular type of ammunition purchased from Russia are Sukhoi and MiG fighter, air defense system, helicopter, battle tank, armor personnel carrier, and infantry combat vehicle. The research organization Center of Strategic Analysis and Technology ranked air defense system manufacturer Almaz-Antey as the most successful industrial company in 2007, followed by aircraft maker Sukhoi. Almaz-Antey revenue that year has 3.122 billion and had workforce of 81,857 people. Automotive production is a significant industry in Russia. Directly employ about 600,000 people or 1% of the total workforce in the country. In addition, the industry supports around 2 until 3 million people in related industry. Russia has the 15th largest car maker in 2010 and accounted for about 7% of worldwide production. The largest companies are light vehicle manufacturers Avtovaz and Gaz, while Kamaz is the leading heavy vehicle manufacturer. 11 forest car manufacturers have production, operation or build factories in Russia.
Hello and Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad HAQEM, and today for my part, I'm going to explain about Moscow culture. So, people in the world have been stereotyping Russia as a harsh country, but in my opinion, Russia is more like straightforward and honest. So I say like that because people in Russia doesn't smile frequently. People in the world have been stereotyping Russia as a harsh country, but in my opinion, Russia is more like straightforward and honest. Yeah, they doesn't smile like in wedding or family reunion because they only give their smile for the person that they really like or they really love. As we know, Russia is a big country, so they divided by 5 continents, so we can easily understand their geography. The 5 continents is first is European, Urals, South, Siberia, and Far East. So actually, Siberia and Far East is full of snow mountain and undeveloped forest. So only 21% of Russia people stay at there, while the remaining 79% stay at the 3 main continent because at there they are full of developed cities such as Moscow. Russia is a diverse country. There are many races at there because obviously Russia is a big country and there are 3 biggest minority at there. The first is Russia, the second is Tatar, the biggest Islam minority at there, and the third is Ukrainian. And Russia is actually one of the official language of United Nations. And fun fact, the quarter of historic literature came from Russia. Russia is a diverse country.
Now it's my turn to explain about the do's and don'ts while doing business in Russia. Firstly, we need to know about the business mentality of Russian people. In Russian, the type of business we are dealing with can usually range from a new style entrepreneur to an old school Soviet bureaucrat. So, it is difficult to do business in Russia without the help from local connection. To help with this, a small gift are often a good idea when doing business in Russia. Present must be symbolizing the stature of our company and the importance of the impending business deal. We can prefer an item that shows our characteristic of our local area and our company logo. Next is patience is important with Russian. Negotiation can often be slow. Why? Because as the Russian proverb stated, do not hurry to reply, but hurry to listen. Lastly is avoid doing any hard selling techniques and any sort of confrontation or conflict. Okay, next is greetings. If you meet a man in business meeting, a firm handshake is mandatory. If you see there are several people, like 6 or 7 people in a room, handshake with all the men in the room are mandatory. In Western firms, you might also use to handshake with women, but if you are far from Moscow or in a very Russian style company, women might not be used to handshake. If you see that women do not extend their hand for a handshake, you can just say hello, missus, or acknowledge them, or maybe you can bow a bit. Lastly, when you meet them, never use their first name unless you are invited to do so. You can use Gospodin, Mr. or Gospoda, Mrs.